That's my fallback. Tucker.
Well, you know, if I shave the gray off, I do look younger.
Let me just make sure I'm rolling here. Hey everybody, Melanie Atkinson here, realtor with Smith & Associates in beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida. And today I am super excited because I get to introduce you guys to 3 of my friends and colleagues. And we're gonna talk about all sorts of things, Florida and Tampa Bay, and they're gonna give you the scoop of what it's like to live in Tampa Bay and what it's like to move here. It should be lots of fun, and the best part is you don't have to listen to just me. With the crazy housing market the way that it is, it has become crystal clear that us busy real estate agents have to work together to best serve our clients. These 3 wonderful agents that you're going to meet today work with me, so I wanted you guys to get to know them too. All 4 of us have different perspectives and we've had different journeys in how we got to the Tampa Bay area. So I hope that by hearing all of this, it will help you if you're thinking about moving here. So we're gonna get started with my dear friend and fellow realtor, Chantel Booth. Full disclosure, Chantel and I have known each other and been good friends for about 15 years. So if any of you guys follow my Instagram account, you will probably recognize her. She comes up in a lot of the pictures.
Hi.
Hi. We decided to have a glass of wine today.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so Chantel, you have actually lived in the Tampa Bay area for the longest out of all of us. You beat me by about a year. So tell us your journey and how you got here and what you love most about living in the Tampa Bay area.
Well, I was born and raised in Canada, Canada. I moved down here in the mid-90s, and just like every good Canadian, we had a condo down here, my parents did, and we just fell in love with it.
Like every good Canadian.
Every good Canadian. I just decided this is the place for me. It was like I wanted to be near the water, I wanted to have the sun, and I came down here, went to USF, go Bulls. That was it. Ended up getting married, having a couple children, and I've been here ever since. Lived all over the area and love it.
Now I'd like to introduce you guys to my former client, now friend and fellow colleague at Smith & Associates, Dale Rivers. Dale has an amazing background. Just let me say that. He is a retired Army colonel. You have a degree from the Citadel, a master's degree. You're even a graduate of the U.S. Army War College. I don't even know what that is, but very impressive. During all of that and all of the places that you've lived around the world, you always dreamed about moving to the Tampa Bay area, which you did last year. So why Tampa?
Well, it goes back to 2015. A friend of mine was stationed at MacDill and came down for her promotion, got here a day early, and looked around and discovered, like, wow, it's really nice down here. So I called my wife and I said, hey, I think I found where we want to retire. It's to Tampa. And she's like, no, we're not going to Tampa because you're a Bucks fan. Of course, I am a lifelong Bucks fan, not a Bucks Brady fan. I was here through the thick and the thin, mostly thin. But
that's weird because there's not a lot of out-of-town Bucks fans.
Yeah, just for some reason, they came into a league when I was a kid and I latched on ever since.
Okay.
So I brought her down here in 2016 and she loved it also. So we started the process of planning to put the flag here when we retired.
Yes, and Dale and his lovely wife, Sonia, are planners. When I met them last year, everything was all planned out. It was honestly the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. Maybe the military gives you the ability to actually be more structured and than a lot of us do. Now it's time for sweet and happy Karen Clemente, also a former client of mine, now friend and realtor at Smith & Associates. So happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Karen loves dogs, so she gets to hold Tucker. It was how I bribed her to do this.
The only way to get me here.
You are a proud Army spouse.
Yes.
Please tell everybody how many times you have had to move your family and where you have had to live.
Okay, so we have moved 12 times in 19 years.
Wow.
We have moved from coast to coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast to the Midwest, to Germany and back. It's been
wow,
a lot.
That is a lot. That's
It's been a lot. We're experts at moving.
So you're experts at moving. Obviously, people watching this are probably going to be moving or might be moving at some point. What tips do you have on moving?
Be organized. Be extremely organized. Plan like you've never planned before. Organize each room like you've never organized a room before. And look at different, where you're going, look at Facebook groups. Join Facebook groups, try and get an idea ahead of time where you're going. what people are saying about it.
Right.
Where you're, you know, things to do, places to go, and restaurants to enjoy.
Watch YouTube channels.
Watch YouTube, watch Melanie.
Now, I know that you probably had packing services a lot, but was there ever anything that you discovered in the actual packing process that was kind of like a gem of a piece of knowledge?
So yes, we always had the Army pack us, but definitely keep an eye on your expensive items. We always tended to put those with us in the suitcase or in the car because we couldn't trust couldn't trust the movers. So you always want to keep things that are, you know, near and dear to your heart with you.
That makes sense. And maybe things that are super fragile or something like that with you.
Jewelry.
Right. You have a somewhat similar journey as I did living in the Tampa Bay area. So you've lived in the suburbs, you've lived kind of out in the country, and now you live in South Tampa. So tell us about all the places that you've lived and what you liked about each area.
I started in like Shore Acres, Snell Isleway, and St. Pete. Loved it down there. Very cool vibe. And decided that, you know, when I was ready to have kids, that we were going to move up to a subdivision kind of feel. Start worrying about school zones and all of that kind of thing. So we moved up to West Chase. Love West Chase.
And when were you in West Chase?
2004.
Yeah.
It just became home. It was great. The neighborhood up there was like friends and family, and that's where we met. And then we moved to Twin Branch Acres, which is a very interesting community, very close to West Chase.
Yes, talk really quick about Twin Branch Acres because it's actually one of my favorite neighborhoods.
It's right behind Tampa Bay Downs is a really unique community, and they kind of have a little bit more land, but you're still kind of in the city, and it's right down the road from West Chase. And they have great houses back in there, really different situation.
Yeah, so they're all custom built houses back there. So they all look different, which is nice and good and bad, depending on what you like. And all the lots are at least an acre, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So you drive back there and it has this kind of rural feel to it.
It
It's
does.
right next to the horse track, but yet it is literally down the street from West Chase and all of the things that are in West Chase.
Yeah, the amenities of everything.
Yeah, I really liked that house when you guys lived there.
That was kind of like our first step in getting a little bit more space. And then from there, we moved up to Odessa off of Lutz Lake Fern in a community called Stillwater. And Stillwater was great because then you're looking at really big lots and, you know, custom built homes in there. And we really enjoyed Stillwater. It was a wonderful, wonderful time for me and my kids. I loved that area. Odessa, it kind of had a soft, it wasn't growing as quickly as it is now, but still very much rural, but you could jump on the Veterans Expressway and be at the Tampa airport in, you know, less than 15 minutes kind of thing.
Right.
Other circumstances happened that I ended up down in South Tampa now, and I love South Tampa. Didn't think I was going to like it. You moved down here first, and I was like, I think she's crazy. She's going to be dealing with all of the traffic and all of that, but it is not what I thought it was going to be at all.
No.
I love it. I love it. I love the restaurants. I love going out. I love the shopping. I love being close to Publix. It's great.
We actually went under contract for your house right before everything shut down last year. Yes. You moved in the summer. So what has it been like since you've been here, and has it lived up to your expectations?
Well, now that we're opening up more, I'm able to see more things and really solidify my choice for moving here.
Okay.
When I first got down here in June and closed on the house, it was, you know, buying furniture, getting things done. It was a little bit harder, but Florida opened up rather quickly during the summertime, which helped a lot. Exceeded my expectations once I finally got out to see exactly where I was living in Wesley Chapel. Got a chance to go down, do the water, took some sailing lessons, and just, yeah.
That's right. You just took sailing lessons.
That's right.
Yes. So how did that go?
It was awesome. It was my third class, got my third certificate, and looking to do some more. We went down, all the way down to Port Charlotte, came back up, and it was a 3-day time on the water.
That's amazing. Yeah. So all sorts of water conversation.
Oh, yes.
So one of the things I love about the fact that you and Dale obviously have a lot of moving experience and you've lived in a lot of places, it gives you guys a really great perspective of what it's actually like to live in other places and live in Tampa. And again, just like him, you guys really wanted to move here. So why Tampa for you guys? And has it lived up to your expectations?
Yes, we wanted to move to Tampa because my mom lives about an hour from here. Okay. So it was perfect to be close to her. Plus, my husband is a California boy, so he wanted to be back near the water again, near the beach, back in the heat, back in the sunshine. We've lived, you know, in the Midwest where it's been super cold, and so we wanted to definitely get somewhere where we had sunshine and the warmth all year round.
Yes, and I know you enjoy that.
Yes.
So I see all sorts of pictures of your feet in your pool and all sorts of things. I'm very jealous. Every time I see one of those, it looks like you guys are thoroughly enjoying all of the sunshine. So speaking of sunshine, let's talk a little bit about weather, because you like to talk about weather. I know you were nervous about the Florida weather. What has it actually been like? And is it as scary as people think it is?
Okay, so great example. 2 days ago, we had the most perfect weather, blue skies, no humidity. I saw my friends' posts and they have snow. And I was just like, well, come down to Florida.
Yeah.
We don't have that. I don't have to shovel snow anymore. I don't have to have my ice pick out anymore.
Right.
So, I mean, it's beautiful. The first summer was hot. It was humid. It was a lot to get used to. But now, if we get any cold front coming through, I'm a true Floridian now. I'm freezing.
Right.
I got to go find my winter coat to put on when it's 50 degrees outside.
So what about the storms?
Okay, so the storms. I love hurricanes. I love weather.
She loves
I love
hurricanes.
them. I love weather, as you know.
Yes, I know.
And
A little obsessed with
all I
weather.
can say is, be prepared. Have a plan. It's storm season. I mean, in the Midwest, you have tornadoes. Here we have hurricanes. You just have to have a plan.
Do you think when you live here, it's as scary as it is, like people think it is when they don't live here?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, our weathermen are super. I mean, they don't panic. They know exactly where their storms are going. The only thing you have to be prepared for is storm surges, water ponding in streets from storms, even thunderstorms in the summer.
Yes.
The streets flood.
Yeah.
And but as far as the hurricanes go, no, I haven't been through one yet. We've been through some tropical storms, but they weren't a big deal. Just have a plan. I mean, it just means being prepared again.
Right. So you mentioned weather people. We follow the same weather people. So let's throw their names out there. So anybody who's concerned about the weather, follow these two. They're, I think, kind of in general considered the best sources for weather. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So Dennis Phillips with ABC Weather, he's got his rule number 7, don't panic until he panics.
Yes.
And also a local, he's not actually a meteorologist, but he's amazing, and that is Mike's weather page out of Oldsmar, and he is fabulous as well.
Yeah, both. But I follow both as well. But one thing about living in South Tampa, both of our kids are older at this point. I know a lot of people move down here for schools. The schools in South Tampa are fantastic. I'm really glad that I raised my kids up in the West Chase area.
Oh, yeah.
Up there.
Yeah.
Because here, as much as there's plenty of little kids that live down here, don't get me wrong, and I love, families that move down here, but there's not the same vibe with sidewalks and block parties and things like that we experienced up there in the suburbs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little different setting. I love the fact that my kids were little up there. I felt a little bit more freedom it was more of a sidewalk community, West Chase and that kind of thing. Down here, it's definitely city vibe. It's a very trendy, very cool spot. Although I think these little neighborhoods throughout South Tampa kind of, you can find a spot here or there where they still do that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes, definitely. Just one street up, they're always outside with their kids.
And that's the thing. I mean, I think we've done so well at choosing houses that have really great schools. My ex-husband came from a long line of educators, public educators, so private was not really an option for us. So it was really imperative that we select a home with really good school zones. And I can't thank the county enough for educating my kids and preparing them. I'm sending one off to college next year, and it's been great. He went to Steinbrenner. He's been at Plant High School. My daughter's been at Hammond and Coleman Elementary, both great schools, and I couldn't have asked for better education for my kids.
I get asked about schools all the time. People watch the channel to get information about schools. It's a hard thing for us professionals to talk about.
Yeah.
But sitting here as friends, I can tell you we did a somewhat similar journey when it comes to schools. Both of our kids are now at Plant High School, which is in South Tampa, which is one of the highest rated as far as the school grades are concerned, high schools in the area. Elementary schools, I was at Deer Park, you were at Hammond.
Yeah.
I had some time at West Chase Elementary too. So we really did do a good job of moving our family around to areas where the public schools were fantastic.
Yeah, they really were.
In the schools, even though we were at good schools, you were very active in schools whenever your kids were little.
Yeah, tried to be.
Did you find whenever you were at the schools that there was a lot of parental participation?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was almost on a private school level. There was so much family involvement, very welcoming. The educators, the administration, the teachers. I've really not had a bad experience with anything, and they were very, even at Plant, being a high school, I know teachers kind of start to kind of pull away, but because, you know, it's their responsibility to do the work, but everybody's been very open and, you know, very willing to kind of like communicate with you as a parent.
You chose to move to Wesley Chapel. You got a beautiful new construction house in Wesley Chapel. I get a lot of people asking about Wesley Chapel. What have you discovered about Wesley Chapel? What do you like about it?
What I really like, well, first of all, Wesley Chapel wasn't our first place that, we're looking at. We were looking at kind of Riverview area, talking to former colleagues, and you told us why in our approach open up some, and you took us to Wesley Chapel, and we looked around and we really liked it. What I love about Wesley Chapel is it's only 6 square miles, but there's so much to do there. Everything I need is right there. I have access to the highway. There are multiple shops, malls. Everything I need is right there. I mean, I have really no reason to leave Wesley Chapel. Also, proximity. We're an hour and a half from Disney when the grandkids come down. The beach is less than an hour away. I'm 35 minutes to the airport. So everything I need is right there. And the country boy in me still gets some open spaces. It's easy to drive down Bruce B. Downs and see a hospital, and across the street there's cattle grazing.
Yeah, there's cows. Yeah, yeah. It's one of my favorite things about driving around Wesley Chapel. Still, is that there's cows and then neighborhoods.
Yes,
there's a giant lagoon and then a cow.
Yep. And when we go walking in the morning, you can hear the chickens on the other side of the fence waking everybody up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So it's excellent choice.
Excellent. I think those might be the roosters that are waking everybody up.
Yes, they're chasing the chickens.
Your family was in construction when you were growing up, so you're familiar with the construction process. We had a lot of conversations about it when you were buying your house. I know you like new construction. There's so much of it going on in Wesley Chapel. So what neighborhoods are you most excited about that are currently under construction in Wesley Chapel for all of those people out there looking to live there?
I love going down 56. There's so many new developments. The best thing I like about in each development, back in the day, you had one developer, one builder per development. You go there now, there's multiple builders giving you so many options. Wiregrass Ranch, you go to different Esplanade, you have multiple builders there. So anybody looking for a house, each builder has 8 to 10 house plans.
Yep.
With 4 builders each, you have a plethora to look at.
Yeah, Epperson is one that has a whole bunch of builders
Yeah,
in it.
exactly,
So
yeah.
you have all these different price points, all these different looks of houses and things like that. Yeah, so Epperson's Lagoon community that people ask about all the time. We were recently in Winding Ridge, which
Winding
is
Ridge, yes,
the
beautiful.
model centers there
Oh my
are
goodness.
amazing. So much fun. We had so much fun looking at the model homes in that neighborhood. There's, 15 of them.
Yeah, there were a bunch.
I call it Disneyland for model homes. It's a lot of fun. So Estancia and
yes.
Esplanade. So you've been there. So all sorts of opportunities for new construction there. So you live 56, Bruce B. Downs, and then 54.
Yes.
There's construction. There's a lot going on there too. So Wesley Chapel, it's so big and there's still so much room there. Talk to everybody. I get asked about Epperson all the time. So what are your thoughts on the lagoon? Is it as cool as it looks online?
I tell you, that is, when you drive there, you go across the big bridge, and that's the first thing you see is that beautiful blue lagoon.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't lock you in, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I know. It is really pretty.
And there's a lot of events they have out there. They have food trucks out there. It's like a miniature Disneyland on water in
Yeah.
the middle of Wesley Chapel.
Yeah.
And off of there, you have housing developments with beautiful homes being built. I believe there's Wi-Fi continuously over
Yes.
the whole structure. It's golf cart friendly. So it is an exceptional place to look.
Yeah, it is. It's super fun. It's an ultra-fi neighborhood. When you buy a house in there, it comes with a Wi-Fi router. It's really cool. When you guys were looking for a house, we were lucky enough to find you guys a house in one of the surrounding neighborhoods in the West Chase area. West Chase is one of my favorite suburbs in the whole entire Tampa area. I've lived there personally. So what do you think about the West Chase area? Let's talk about that neighborhood and area specifically.
Okay, so yes, we love West Chase area. We live in a neighborhood called Westwood Lakes, and it's not actually in West Chase. It's on the perimeter of it, and it's beautiful. We originally came from Orange County, and it kind of gave us the same vibe with the manicured streets, center reservations. That is very British of me.
What did you just say?
Center reservations.
What are center reservations?
Medians. Yeah, everything is so manicured. I mean, just really reminds of South Orange County.
Okay.
And we picked West Chase, though, because of the schools.
Okay.
I had a son that was in high school, and we wanted him to go to Sickles High School. And he is now graduating in less than a month and going off to college. I love West Chase. I mean, it's so convenient to everywhere. It's close to jump onto the Veterans Parkway to get downtown, to get to the airport.
Do you have any cons about living in West Chase?
No, not really.
Really?
No, I don't.
Are you excited for the new Citrus Park Drive extension to be done?
Yes, I wish it had been done when my son was in school because it would have made it a lot easier to get to school.
Yes.
But it'll help alleviate some of the traffic. Some of the roads in West Chase can get a little busy, especially Linebaugh Avenue.
Yes.
And especially when school's getting out, there's a lot of traffic, especially when the buses are stopping all the traffic.
There's a lot of schools in the West Chase area in general, a lot of elementary schools specifically. And so you get a lot of traffic buildup in that area. And then during rush hour, right now to get to the Veterans Expressway, there's only 2 ways to do it. So those roads get kind of congested as well. That would be my con with the West Chase area, but I agree. I don't really have a lot. You are one of the few people that I know that has a lot of experience with boating at this point, of boats of all different type. Again, check my Instagram if you want to know more about me on Chantel's boats. Talk to people that are watching that maybe want to come down here for boating purposes, what to look for if they're looking for waterfront homes, marinas, things like that.
Well, that's the beauty about Tampa, is it's not necessarily like a beach place. You can go to the beach, you can go to Clearwater Beach, you can go to St. Pete Beach. It's great. Tampa is more canals and open water, and we have very shallow water, which is really great fishing, and that's lovely. And most of the homes that are on the water they've done usually a boat lift or at least a boat dock.
Right.
And that's lovely. I mean, the sunsets down here are like amazing. You just have to kind of select a home if you're able to do that, you know, a vessel can get in and out. There's very shallow water, tides change.
Right.
So you always have to take that into consideration. But in addition to that, they have several local marinas that have high and dries that you can, you know, store your boat anywhere if you can't be on the water, which is like, that's great. There's boat clubs. We have a couple marinas that even can accommodate a boat up to like 100-foot boat. So
yeah, so talk about those marinas. Sorry, Tucker wants her wine.
you can have all kinds of facets of boating kind of thing. You can do the fishermen, you can do the floaters. We call them the floaters that just like to take a bunch of boats out there and float around the island and drink beer on Saturdays and Sundays, which is super fun too. So, you know, there's all kinds of different levels of boating, kayaking, paddleboarding, you know, it's just, there's a lot of access.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so the two yacht clubs that you were talking about. So if you're somebody that wants, you know, luxury boating, West Shore Yacht Club and then Tampa Yacht Club.
Yeah.
Are there any on
there's a couple in the
side?
St. Pete side. There's a lot of boat dockage in front of the Vinoy, which is really nice to go down there and spend the weekend down there. There's lots of sailing boats
St.
down
Pete.
there. It's a great place to be. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, you can go out there and see manatees and dolphins and, you know, schools of fish. And it's not a rare occurrence. This happens all the time, like every day kind of thing. So it's hard not to like stay in love with Tampa whenever you see this stuff all the time.
Oh yeah. It is.
It never gets old.
So one thing I get asked about, again, is traffic. We talk a little bit about Wesley Chapel traffic. So what is the reality of traffic and how does it compare to other places that you've lived?
Compared to other places, looking at Washington, D.C. and larger metropolitan areas, it's not bad, I would think. I think more of the traffic is just due to a lot of the traffic lights. So you have a lot of what I call commuter traffic.
Okay.
It's not there all the time. With the new construction, especially at I-75 and 56, the new Diamond Interchange they're putting in, which should be done, I think, in late 22, it will help traffic, but right now it's causing a bit of a backup.
Yeah, I talk about in one of the other videos that it was just doing. Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty much trying to work ahead of the growth, but that is causing some pain for the current residents now. But it's in very small places. So it's not something where trying to get to Tampa is like trying to get from LA to someplace else or from DC to the outskirts of DC.
Bad, but not that bad.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
A little frustrating, but you know, tolerable.
Now, you have a background in event planning. You do a lot of charity work with animals. It's one of your passions. Do you have any advice for anybody moving here who happens to be an animal lover and wants to spend some time as volunteer hours doing charity work for animals?
So there are a lot of animal rescue groups here in Tampa. The Tampa SPCA, the Humane Society of Tampa Bay, and one that's close to Dunedin is the Suncoast Animal League. And they are all great places to volunteer your time if you have some extra hours.
Right. And what was the one that you worked with when you were elsewhere?
Yeah, I worked with a national nonprofit called Puppy Up Foundation, and we raised awareness of canine cancer and helped fund research grants in finding cancer in both humans and pets.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do they have any events coming up?
We do not have anything here in the Tampa Bay area. That is a pet project of mine. So hopefully I'll be able to get a walk started here in the future.
Do we have to bring the dogs to the walk?
It is a dog walk.
So Tucker can only walk like so far. He's pretty small and kind of lazy. So
He can go in a stroller. You can go
that
put him in a
feels
backpack.
wrong. You haven't been here for too long, and I know a lot of things were shut down, but have you made any fun discoveries that you can share with everybody?
Oh, yes. I like food, cooking it and eating
Okay.
it especially. There are a plethora of restaurants in Wesley Chapel. One of my favorites of my wife and I's is this Puerto Rican place called Rice and Beans,
Rice and beans.
right off of 56. It's
Oh,
a
fun.
beautiful restaurant. My wife was stationed in Puerto Rico numerous times, so she is a confectionate of that type of cuisine, and
Okay.
she loves it. Also, a large shopping area called the Grove.
Yes.
They are building a container park across the street. They've taken a bunch of containers, over 100, that will be converted to outdoor platforms and restaurants. And further back in the Grove, they have a new movie theater. The great thing about this movie theater, it has a restaurant inside, and it has chairs that you can fully recline in, and it has those airline type tables, so you can bring your gourmet meal in to the theater and watch a movie at the same time.
Yeah, so thank you so much for bringing up the Grove. It's one of those areas that I forget about a lot. It's very close to where you live, and it was an exciting new change that was coming. And I wasn't sure if everything had actually started. There's a dueling piano bar there too.
Yeah, there's a
isn't there?
dueling piano bar. They're opening up a comedy club soon, and also
fun.
they'll be having live dramas and actions and operas on the stage inside.
That's amazing. We have 2 new dueling piano bars here in Tampa, which I find a little strange. One just opened in Ybor and then one at the Grove. Is there a big market for dueling piano bars? There must be. I can't see why they would open them if there wasn't.
I think it's just music. People love live music.
I know.
Going to concerts, dueling piano bar is something different.
Being up in the suburbs, are there any other secret finds that you can let people know that you've discovered since you've been here?
So I don't know how secret it is, but up in Odessa, there's Starkey Market, which is a great market to get local produce and fruits. And right now they have pick your own blueberries. They normally have strawberries, but right now it's blueberry season, so you can go out into the fields and pick your own blueberries, which I wanted to do this weekend, and so we'll see.
Yes. So speaking of picking blueberries, I would say one of my secret finds, Church Lake Farms, which is it's really close to you, has blueberry picking as well. One of my favorite places to go. I'm not sure if it's open right now, but during blueberry season, I didn't make it this year, but I usually go to Church Lake Farms to pick blueberries. It is fun. All right. Well, that was all that I had for you, Karen. So thank you so much. So I'm going to do something a little bit fun here. Because we go out a lot together, I wanted to give you a fast speed round of your favorite things.
Oh, gosh.
So you're going to
Okay.
answer them, and then I'm going to answer my favorite things, and we're going to see if they match. So let's see how this goes.
Okay.
So your favorite rooftop bar?
Probably the new one at Midtown, Aloft. What's it called?
Sally Mar.
Sally Mar.
That's very pretty.
Yes,
Yeah, Midtown.
yes.
Mine, M-Bird. Armature
Okay.
Works. It's amazing.
that
Dive
is
Bar.
good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Dive Bar is Green Iguana.
Green Iguana on West Shore.
Yes, they have.
Do you think they would want to be a dive bar? It's a restaurant.
They're kind of a dive bar. It's like
kinda
a
divey.
tiki hot kind of, but they have live music every night. So that's my thing.
My favorite is Boneyard in Ybor. So Boneyard is no taps of anything. Everything that they use, club soda, everything is from a bottle. They have one of the best displays of liquor I've ever seen, and they have amazing chicken wings and french fries, which frankly is the most important part of that whole question. Italian restaurant,
Cafe Paradiso.
Donatello. I think
Yeah.
Donatello's going to be sad that you didn't say Donatello.
Well, I love Donatello's, like to go to the bar and dance and,
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It is really good food. My kids love it. That's their favorite.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
Dairy Joy.
Yes.
It's a Tampa staple.
A Tampa staple.
Old school, drive
Joy on
up,
Manhattan.
window. You got to go with an
From, like,
Elvis
the
thing.
1950s,
Yeah, with an Elvis
So
statue
good.
in front.
Soft serve, which is the
Yes.
best.
Yeah.
Pizza.
New York, grandma's pie.
So I actually did a pizza taste test not too long ago. Eddie and Sam's best New York pizza that I found
Really?
in downtown Tampa, even against New York, New York.
Really?
It was close though. Eddie and
Okay.
Sam's New York, New York. So I'll go Eddie and Sam's if you go New York, New York.
okay.
Dessert place.
I would have to say Wright's chocolate cake or Burns dessert room.
Yeah, Burns Dessert Room. That's an easy one.
That's
So-
like a beautiful experience.
I know it's hard to say favorite, but I will mention the dessert spot, which is the former place of Toffee to Go, which has
Oh, yes.
Bay to Bay. It's so good. They
The
have
toffee is to die
the
for.
toffee is to die
Yes,
for.
my Canadians. Oh, I have to ship it to them all the time.
And of course, Nothing Bundt Cakes, which is
Yes.
my favorite cakes.
Love those.
So we go to a lot of concerts. What's your favorite concert venue?
I like the small venue of like Capitol Theater.
Yeah, not that one, but
No?
Orpheum is my favorite. In Ybor.
Really?
I've seen some of the best shows ever at Orpheum.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Janice Live in St. Pete is fun too.
Yeah.
And then we have big ones. We have Amelie. We have the amphitheater down by the fairgrounds.
Well, that's really fun too because the Hard Rock's right across the road. So we've gone to many concerts and then got ourselves back to the Hard Rock Hotel.
Maybe
Fun
just
nights.
barely. Yes. Steakhouse.
I'm going to say Ocean Prime because that's always my love.
I mean, Burns is good for steak. And
Yes.
then Fleming's is always good for steak.
Yeah.
Seafood.
Probably Salt Rock. It's beautiful and it's really fresh. Like
Yeah.
it's so good. It's worth definitely
Yeah.
driving over there.
I like the snapper at Eddie V's.
Chilean sea bass.
Oh, the sea bass.
Oh, the
Yes.
Chilean sea bass.
The
is
sea bass
excellent.
is really
Yes.
good too, yes. Okay, favorite beach hotel?
Don Cesar. I'm such a traditionalist. I love old Tampa stuff, you know?
Yeah, I know. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm not even argue with that one. City
Yeah.
Hotel.
I'm super excited about the new JW. I think it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. So counterpoint to that, Waterside Marriott, which has been there forever. They just redid it. What I like better about that one is I think the location is better. You get more waterfront views. The JW is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I've been there, but I do like the views better from the Marriott Waterside. Also the Vinoy in downtown St. Pete. Waterfront restaurant.
I like going to the Salt Shack.
Yeah, Salt Shack's fun. I wouldn't call it, like, I don't think
That's
about
not
that for
like water.
food.
I
Yeah.
do love to go to Oyster Catchers for brunch. I think it's one of the most
Yeah.
beautiful brunches in Tampa.
Yeah.
And there's so much food. You can't
Right.
even.
Island Way Grill, which is over in Clearwater. That's
Yes, that's
waterfront.
beautiful.
That's pretty. Secret spot that locals know about. Anything.
See, now I would have said like Donatello's.
It's been around forever.
I know, but it's only locals really. It's just so authentic and so like old
is.
Tampa. It's beautiful.
As far as beaches, I always like to tell people, and I think I've referenced it a couple times in videos, that there's beaches that locals know about. I mean, locals don't go to Clearwater Beach really, but Honeymoon Island is a really special spot
yeah.
that is, kind of more of a private beach area that locals go to. So, and also the Black Pearl in Dunedin restaurant.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's it, Chantel. Thank you so much for everything.
Thanks for having me. Let's go drink
Cheers.
some more wine.
Yes. Cheers. One of my favorite things about Dale is that he's a very inspiring person. I hope all of you get a chance to talk to him at some point. But he puts on his Instagram account all sorts of quotes, and I just love them. So I wanted you to share with everybody your favorite quote.
Well, I don't know if it's a favorite. It's one I definitely like. It's been done different times. The one I have, it's a picture of Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and they're sitting on a dock watching the sun go down, and Charlie Brown goes, Snoopy, you only live once. And Snoopy goes, Charlie Brown, you're wrong. You only die once. We live every day.
Oh, I would love that. See, now I have chills. Thank you so much, Dale. I'm so excited to be working with you now and to be able to see you all the time. So thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed these conversations and learned a little bit about what it's like to move to Florida in the Tampa Bay area from these wonderful real estate professionals and friends of mine. We are putting all of their contact information in the description of this video. So if you have any questions for me or Dale or Chantel or Karen, please feel free to reach out directly to them. If you're looking for something else to watch on this channel, check out 2 videos that I did a really long time ago. They go back to what Chantel and Karen and I were talking about with Westchase and the Westchase area. Those are 2 neighborhood videos that I think a lot of people don't find because they're so far down in my video list, but they're fantastic. Thank you everybody for watching. With love, Melanie.